So a couple weeks ago, I was listening to this program. I think it was on Science Friday or something like that on NPR. And they were talking about an asteroid that had just been discovered that's orbiting in our solar system between Mars and Jupiter. And they've named this asteroid Psyche, which is the Greek goddess of the soul. Good name. The unique feature of this asteroid is that it is made completely out of a combination of pure gold and platinum and iron. And in fact, they said if they were to put a value on this, if somehow we could, harness this and bring it here, that it would be worth, get ready for this, 10,000 quadrillion. Do you even know what that number looks like? I don't. How many zeros is behind that? I don't know. Is that a real number? 10,000 quadrillion. 10,000 quadrillion. And they said that if we could, and they're working on it. In fact, there's already a probe that's going there. NASA's working with, guess who? SpaceX, going there to try to see if we can begin to mine that. And they said if we could bring all of that back to Earth, that it would make everyone on Earth a billionaire. Everyone on Earth, a billionaire. I mean, imagine what that would be. Every man, woman, and child. There are almost 8 billion people on this planet. Imagine everyone suddenly a billionaire. Now, provided that when all of that comes, it is shared equally, which highly doubtful. But hey, let's just play with this idea for a moment. Let's just, a thought experiment. So if it were true and everyone became an instant billionaire, wow, imagine, millions of people would be lifted out of poverty. No one would go hungry. No one would be homeless. No one would have to decide between paying their electric bill and filling a prescription for a life-saving medication. No one could say they couldn't afford to go to college. I mean, we'd have the money to fix the roads and the crumbling infrastructure. We would fund, worthy causes. We would all the nonprofits, including UCP is a nonprofit. Can you imagine what we could do? We would pave that driveway and the parking lot. We'd create this expansive entrance so that you don't get all bottlenecked up when you're coming inside. Oh, 100 things I can imagine we could do with that. More importantly, we could fund all the schools. We could pay teachers what they're worth and give them everything they need. Aho, imagine, we could fund all of the technologies that are already proven to sequester CO2 from the atmosphere, right? That's the greenhouse gases, and totally develop and get online all the renewable and sustainable energy and use that only, effectively ending climate change. Wow. I'm sure you could think of 1,000 other amazing things we could do if everyone was suddenly limitlessly abundant, right? Imagine. Now, you could probably think of a few problems that might happen too. Like, who would work? Who would make your brown sugar oat milk lattes? Honestly. Who would cook and serve the food in restaurants? Who would collect the garbage? Who would fix the cars? Who would answer the phone when you need your computer fixed? Who would build the houses, grow the food, repair cars? Do you think people would do that out of the kindness of their heart? No, everybody's going to be on a beach, a warm, sunny beach somewhere in an eternal vacation. So I started thinking, so my imagination is going overtime now, and I'm thinking, I wonder if there is something that could help create all of these solutions, all of these answers that we're looking for without the inherent problems. Is there anything that could do that? And I'm thinking space, I'm thinking asteroids now. So stay with me. What if there were an asteroid that was made purely out of love? Pure love. There is so much love contained in this asteroid that if we could tap it, it would make everyone on Earth feel 1 billion times more loved and more loving. Can you imagine what would happen if everyone felt loved and so loving? Oh my God. We would lovingly want to address all of the issues that face us. We would want to take care of anybody. We could not stand by and let anybody suffer, right? So, millions of people would be lifted out of poverty. No one would go hungry. No one would be homeless. No one would have to be forced to, pay their electric bill or get their prescription filled. We could fix all the roads. Here's an idea. Guns are banned. We don't need any more guns. Why would we need a gun? We love everybody. Everybody loves us. Here's another idea. The defense budget. Why would we need weapons of war anymore? This is a huge part of our defense, of our budget is the defense budget. If everybody loves us, what do we need to defend ourselves for? If we love everybody else, we're not going to do that. So you take all of that money and you put it in the places that can really solve the problems and help take care of everybody. Again, we could fund all the schools, right? We want to pay the teachers what they're worth. We would find a way to send anybody who wants to go to college or somehow make it free. We would find a way to fix all the infrastructure. We'd find a way to sequester the CO2 and to ensure that we have nothing but renewable energies because we love the planet and all of the people in it. Oh, imagine what we could do if everyone was just somehow beamed this energy of love. Wow. So it's not a quadrillion, I can't even say it, a quadrillion dollars that we need. It's love. Massive amounts of love. That's all we need. So, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be awesome if we could encounter an asteroid that, it passes by at a certain angle at a certain time and it just beams us massive amounts of love. And we receive it. We receive it. It's an interesting experiment to just think this way, to think what could be. Remember, we were talking about a couple weeks ago, how good can it get? We want to think in terms of solutions. We want to think in terms of not how bad can it get, how good can it get? Remember, we affirmed that together. Let's do that again. How good can it get? One more time. How good can it get? We want to stretch our consciousness and invite in the possibility. Right? Invite in the possibility. Now, this being the Christmas season, right? Looks like Christmas in here, so beautifully decorated. This being the Christmas season, some would say that that's what Jesus was to humanity. The embodiment of love. Here to awaken the love within us and to show us how we can access it by connecting with that divine within us, by connecting with the divine in our heart. Right? So this is what we think about in Christmas. But of course, every religion has a central figure who represents that someone who awakens the love within humanity. So Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Baha'u'llah, Green Tara maybe, a goddess figure, the Great Spirit in nature. There's in every faith, there's a central figure who represents that for us. And I want to remind everybody that we're all free here, Unity Center of Peace. We are free to embrace and worship any or all or none of the above, because we embrace the spiritual truths the core spiritual truths found in every faith, and reject the religious dogma. Just as a reminder. That's why we're here. So Joseph Campbell, the mythology, the hero's journey guy, he says all our concepts, all our God concepts are masks we hang on the indefinable mystery beyond thought. The masks that we hang on the indefinable mystery. So, depending upon the culture that you grew up in, your mask, your personification of God can help build a bridge. It can help build a bridge between your human experience and the ineffable. Ultimately, we want to know at our core that we live, move, and have our being in this energy of infinite divine love, that we are this infinite divine love expressing. But sometimes the spiritual concepts that we talk about here are just that. They're concepts. So how do we, not only understand it on an intellectual level, but really experience it, really embody it so it moves us, it guides us, it shows up in the way we are. It shows up in our experience. This idea that there's this infinite, universal, divine life that is infinite love, that idea sometimes is a little abstract. Do you ever feel that way? Like sometimes the concepts are a little abstract. So the idea, the invitation, is to build a bridge. Use something that can help us build a bridge so that we can connect with this love essence with the very real human experience that we have. Right? So having a divine figure to focus on, or a sacred text, or an angelic being, or a guru, or a teacher, or an idea of an asteroid that's made of pure love. Something that can help us bridge the gap. And for many in this culture, that's Jesus, right? Who really embodied, who stayed centered and present in love regardless of the circumstances, and showed us the direction of how we can do the same. But again, for others, it's a guru. Maybe Paramahansa Yogananda. I think some of you relate to that. Mayor Baba. Some people experience that. Krishnamurti, Aurobindo, or maybe it's a guardian angel. A lot of people really relate to that experience of having guardian angels. Or maybe it's the beauty of nature. and the resilience of the changing of the seasons, that constancy. So for me, it was, I shared with a lot of you that I began my spiritual journey pretty early. I was a teenager, and I attended this New Thought church in San Diego called the Teaching of the Inner Christ. And it's what it was. And they taught us to, they would have these guided deep meditations. They would guide us deeply in meditation, where we are listening for and hearing the name of our Christ self, the Christ self and our I am self, like had specific names. And so this became very real to me, and it became a very real guide for me, and something that was that bridge, and really was, holding me while I was going through, growing up. So whatever it is for you, whatever you relate to, whether it's a divine being or an angel or energy or your own Christ self, feel free, to use this as a bridge to really bridge that humanness with these spiritual concepts that we talk about. And that just helps us to open to what is available. It is available. It's always available. This infinite, transcendent, limitless love is always here. But sometimes we just have a tough time feeling it, getting to it, opening to it. And so having this kind of a bridge can really get us in that, oh, I see, okay. And then you call on this energy, and then suddenly you see from a different perspective. The way is made clear. Grace begins to unfold. You feel that love. You feel, or maybe you just feel held in the warm embrace of a loving presence while you're wandering through the wilderness. Anybody wandered through the wilderness? Yeah, I think we all have. Just to feel the presence, the warm love of a divine beingness while we're traversing that. It can be very helpful. And now another way that we can look at this concept of the bridge, just a different way of going in there, is that bridge can be a mantra that you might use in meditation. So you think about that, a mantra keeps us focused, keeps our mind the mind that always wants to wander all over the place. It keeps us focused and present and in the moment, so that we can sort of shift our awareness from this human kind of, most of the time we are just, meaningless thoughts all day long. But in the moment we get still, using a mantra can help us stay present so that we can open to a more expansive sense of self, so that we can experience that infinite self that we are. You can also think of this bridge as the words that we use in affirmative prayer. A lot of people, when they're first starting to learn affirmative prayer, always wondering, am I doing it right? Am I saying the right words? What should I be saying? What words should I be saying? And it's not the words. I keep saying it's not the words. The words aren't the magic. You use whatever words, which are a bridge, whatever words get you to the place where you can release yourself from the temporary world of effect, the temporary world of form and experience. You want to Release yourself from that at the moment and use those words, whatever words, take you to the place in consciousness where you realize that because you are this infinite love expressing, that anything you possibly could need is here. That we live, move, and have our being in infinite, limitless love. So the words are whatever works for you to get you to that place in consciousness, to get to that expanded awareness where you know who you truly are. And then from that place, you call forth your good. That's what affirmative prayer can do. And I'm, thinking about next year and kind of planning the classes for next year. I'm thinking it might be time to do another affirmative prayer class. How many people would be interested in an affirmative prayer class? Yeah, good. So we learn this kind of technique. Again, not the words. It's where it takes us. And so I invite you in this very busy holiday season. And of course, it's all joyous, right? We love, don't you love just going shopping, getting somebody you love a gift that they're going to love, planning a meal that you have people in and you can share that, and maybe going to the airport and picking people up, or maybe you're driving somewhere to be with your loved ones. It's all joyous stuff. Decorating the house. It's just when it's all compressed into a small amount of time that it begins to feel a little overwhelming. So I invite you, during this busy, joyful time, to think about this. To think about, while you're standing in a long line waiting to get to the checkout, to think about this idea of beaming love, of this love being beamed into your heart from whatever source, maybe it's from within you, and then share that. And then beam that love into someone else's heart, the person standing in front of you, the person, the grocer that it's like, where the heck do you got the dried cranberries? You have to grab somebody. Where's the time? Beam, think about, take a moment. We take a moment, this beautiful meditation as Waldo did, kind of go back to that space, of feeling that love beaming in the heart, in our heart, and then beam it out to someone else's heart. And that's how we make this Christmas season the most joyful and loving and expansive experience of transcendent love from moment to moment. Yes? Yeah. Happy holidays.